Boom!
What's up, everybody? It's the Life on Life's Terms podcast, and I'm Tom Robinson. And like I always say, we're not affiliated with any 12-step programs, but we do endorse them. I'm also a recovering addict.
Yes, I'm Chris Mandeville, and I am a recovered heroin addict. We're here at a New Way Recovery Center in Quincy, Mass, on Quincy Ave.
Great place.
They hook us up with the spot to provide this podcast for you. They also have a Facebook page and all that, so you can check them out. And
we have a website.
Yes.
LOLTERMS.com.
Yes. And
please subscribe to the audio podcast.
Our friend Susan Lordy.
Oh, Lordy.
24-hour power recovery
.com.
graffiti. She
24hourpower.com.
Yes, 24hrpower.com.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
She's like putting us on to a lot of the recovery centers and treatment centers that when commitments don't show up, she's like, here, they
Nice.
can listen.
Brilliant.
They can listen. So
bloody brilliant.
we're gonna go to I'm gonna go over to, if you want to join me, that's
Yeah.
we're gonna go over to Stairway to Recovery in Brockton. They're having their anniversary on the 8th.
What day of the week?
It's a Sunday or 9th, 11 to 2 or something like that. So
11
you just pop in, do a quick
in the morning on Sunday
Yeah.
to 2. Okay.
pop
Yeah.
in, do a quick how do you
Quick
do?
nooner.
A quick,
Jump in for a nooner.
do a live podcast.
Yeah,
appearance. Nice.
if we don't even,
Yeah.
we could even just bring the iPad or whatever and do it from that.
Bring your laptop and the microphone.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, just to get them on the map too.
Sounds great.
So tonight is our
Second
second discussion meeting.
discussion podcast.
Discussion meeting.
it's
It's a speaker discussion.
a big meeting.
And we're having
Self-realization.
two
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yes. I have a topic. Feeling a little verklempt. We have two previous podcast guests,
Yeah.
Anthony Fitzmaurice and Derek Quirk, owner and operator of Revelations Recovery.
Fitzy, you didn't come here though, did you?
I did.
Oh,
yeah,
you did.
after,
We-
remember,
we-
because they couldn't
yeah.
hear him?
Oh
We-
yeah, that's right. You
Yeah.
couldn't hear you
That's
at
right.
all
Over
the
at
first time.
Yeah.
You
What
did
was
come
it,
here.
Life Community Quest Church? It was a
Yes,
church.
Mhm.
yes.
It was church
Yeah.
paint,
Yep.
music.
There was a
It was good
recovery
time.
graffiti event
Yep,
that night
that's
as
right.
well.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Yep, it was a good time.
So, and if you're out there watching right now, please share this podcast.
Yes, please do.
Share it to your page, share it to groups, share it.
Share alike.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
So,
Unless it's STDs, ladies
yes.
and gentlemen. Be
Hey, no,
protected.
it's called STIs now, right?
Gotta be.
Everything's
Yes.
got
Sexually
to be
transmitted
right.
infection.
an infection.
Yes, they don't want
Huh.
to call it a disease no more. STI, isn't that a
Well,
Subaru?
couldn't that be? That could be some of the people in my life. The negativity that comes.
Yeah.
There's a sexually transmitted infection.
Negativity.
You know what I mean?
Sexually transmitted
Yep.
individuals.
Yes.
That's right. It goes way
Yes.
back.
How far are we going back? Way back.
Way back.
As we go a little something like this.
So, yeah. So the topic tonight that Fitzy has come up with is self-realization. I guess we're going to go with
Self-realization
through spiritual principles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so elaborate on that.
I will elaborate, I guess. So, self-realization to me is to understand the mind, understand consciousness. I think my experience with this was one where I think a lot of people can understand. You know, I was raised Catholic. So part of a religion. Where it was one person, filling you with prophecies and things that you would have to wait to come to fruition, and wait and want and pray and pray and pray. And for me, coming to the understanding that I am a child of, I am, and have consciousness, God consciousness. So those same things that they preach in Scripture was basically, like I think I said it the last time I was here, it's like the greatest self-help book ever printed or scribed. But the reality is, just like anything else, like if you're going to go get a good batch of something, you want it pure, right? And it's been stomped on for generations. So when you peel it all back and you really get down to brass tacks and what they're truly trying to tell you, what Jesus was trying to tell, to obtain freedom, to fight the ego, to reach for healthy desires, not to for worldly desires. That when I started to dig into those things, it just kind of led me. The Spirit led me in different areas and ways where I could, understanding step 11, understanding was through prayer and meditation. And, following Jesus kind of taught me more about how to pray. And when I followed his teachings, and it kind of led me to Buddha, to understand the meditation part, how to stay still, how to sit in oneself, how to learn how to build ways and walls around my ego to find healthy desires and other ways of thought processes that would lead me to look at all avenues rather than just the dualistic one that I had. That was either give me what I want or it's no good.
Right,
I couldn't
right.
see, everything was black and white. So, the self-realization part, it's a process. It's a process, but it's one where it's like, when they talk about thirst in Scripture, I understand what they're talking about now. Like, I thirst for more and more knowledge, more and more understanding. Like, I have this thing where it's like, I need to understand what words truly mean for my own translation. And that's one of the beautiful parts about, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous is that in that back, in that appendix, it talks about, the spiritual experience.
Yeah.
And it's your spiritual
And-
experience.
and
It's your the God of your understanding.
And you're talking about words, and you want pick up the big book. There's some words in there that,
Yeah.
and so I have a dictionary that goes
Yes.
with it
Yep.
because I didn't know what a lot of these words meant.
Mhm.
So when I was sitting down reading with somebody, I wouldn't ask what the word meant to my sponsor or
You're
who
not
was
gonna
taking me through
either.
the book. So I have it written down, and I just say, this is what this word means, because I was afraid to ask.
Yep.
So if you feel that way, I'm just gonna cut to the quick, and here you go. This is what it means, So
Yeah.
and I was listening to, I think it might have been at church the other day, or I was listening to someone, and like what you're speaking of now in Scripture, and how these are all different people's interpretation
Mhm.
of what Jesus was saying. And like the thing that I listened to the other day, it was like, we're trying to get to God through all these other things when we already got to God right here.
Right.
We're trying to go out there to get what we already have.
Well, and this is the thing that, like, the more I went in one direction, which would lead me to another direction, that I started to understand. So I kind of went from that traditional, Christian view to understanding Buddhism a lot more. To end suffering, love, compassion, kindness, and it led me to more of the Hindu avenues, the yogas,
Yeah.
The yogis, and if you look at it all, it's just like when you're in recovery, right? And you're going to a meeting, you're part of a group. They tell you to, hang around with people who have had experience. Now, why, you go to people who have experience because they've obtained a little bit of enlightenment that you may or may not have. It's also one of those things where it's like, they have gurus, they have sages, they have priests, they have pastors, they have, we have sponsors, we have
Mentors.
this is mentors. So there's so many different avenues where I just feel like everybody pigeonholes everything, and they try to separate it, when the reality is that any spiritual practice or any and all spiritual teachings basically are based around love, loving yourself. Like for me, it all started with wanting a relationship with God, right? So I sought out for that, and through that I learned to be able to channel that piece of me that understood him, but right back at me, he taught me how to love myself. Then having the understanding that not only did he teach me how to love myself, learning that I loved myself and that I was worthy of his love, I now know that he is a part of me as I am him.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
called,
I
that's
find
called the Holy Spirit.
Right. So then I obtain that, and then it's like, then I find consciousness through meditation.
Yeah.
Now I start to understand about the ego, healthy desires, ways to get around it. practicing principles. Attachment, huge one.
Attachment.
Like, I mean, anybody
Listen,
covers
I ain't letting go of shit until there's blood coming from it.
Buddy,
Right.
that's
Claws are.
That's that thing lately where it's like the attachment to things or the attachment to feelings and emotions.
Attachments to ideals.
I'm going
like
through like
twisted shit.
these life situations we were talking about
Mhm.
before we came on air, but
Yep.
it's like I have to remove my attachment to those thoughts as if they're going to happen, because in reality I have no control over
What?
the actual thing happening, just my reaction to it. So I have to
Exactly.
remove my
I find
emotional attachment.
I find it super helpful to practice to accept the present moment.
Mhm.
Whatever is the present moment is, accept. And then whatever you do in the present moment possibly could change the future. But to not accept that it is what it is just lying to yourself. Accept present moment. I accept that this is what it is. And, it can be beyond my control.
Right.
You know?
And like to do that, to practice that is very difficult because we're all emotional people. So to respond to these situations rather than to react to them is it takes a lot of work, man.
Yeah, it
Like-
does. It takes practice.
Acceptance is huge, though. I mean,
Yes.
especially and I know for me in early sobriety, just accepting the fact that like I gotta ask for help.
Right.
I can't do this alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Accepting that I do have a problem. Accepting that whatever the situation may be. But I find myself saying it all the time is like I don't have to like something. I could hate it, but if I can accept it, if I can find some sort of acceptance in it,
Right.
then I can deal with it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And accepting it, it doesn't mean that that you're not gonna have emotions attached to that as well.
Right.
I think that's the part where you need to visualize yourself handling situations in a manner in which they call it the character in the play. Talk about it in the book, right? Well, I played that character. I played that role, but what I didn't understand is that the visions I was having beforehand were my own premonitions. So the life that I was leading, the way that they were going, the things that were happening, I was already thinking about them far before they came. So it's like
That's
now, it's like the precursor to anything going on, like my life situations. I try to visualize myself in any and all situations, so I can practice acceptance, saying, "Well, I anticipated this happening."
That's
So
a Stoic principle.
Yeah,
Have you ever heard of Stoicism?
I have no.
Stoicism was this, it's from ancient Greece. And it's a philosophy, and part of the Stoicism philosophy is to practice or visualizing yourself when something terrible happens. And what you're visualizing is you're emotionally calm, and you just handle it. You know what I mean? And I always amazed at people who don't get, upset, especially somebody in a leadership role. They don't get upset. Something messed up happens. You know what I mean? And they're just like, okay, well, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna, you know what I mean? And they don't get emotionally about it because, they're practiced at it. They're practiced at being stoic.
Yes.
It's a pretty cool idea, but I also don't I don't know, because I don't like going negative either, like visualizing negative situations too much.
Listen,
That's not good.
I got a whole entire scenario story, like the you name it. It's already played out in my mind before the situation has even presented itself.
Yeah.
So I
You know
guess
what I
the
mean?
positive visualization would be how you're reacting.
Yes.
To visualize
Yes.
yourself reacting
But because then
properly.
you're already practicing the acceptance of the situation, whether you view it negatively, it all depends on how you hold your attachment to the actual situation. Like we were talking about earlier, the situation that I went through today. It was like I could see myself in so many different areas,
Right.
and I was okay with all of them because I just had to understand that this is life, this is what happens. I can't control people, places, and things. My reaction, the way I present myself, and how I move forward, right?
Yeah.
And I handled all those situations as if I'm like, if I'm writing the script, or I'm, who and what do I want to do? Even if I don't believe it at times, I'm like, this
Right.
is how I'm going to do it.
Right.
This is exactly how it's going to play out. And then by the time I catch up, I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? It either has passed by and it's settled and it's okay, or, it was funny, we were talking about, and I buzzed by this earlier. It says ego never accepts the truth. You know, when it that,
Right.
Yeah.
the ego will never accept the truth. So it's like whenever I feel like I'm hung up, it's where's my acceptance?
Yep.
Where is my acceptance? If I'm so hung up on something and I just can't, no, and it can't be, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. Where's my acceptance?
To think
Right.
that 3-letter word
Ah,
can rule and ruin
yeah,
everything.
yep.
What
You know.
three-letter word?
Ego.
Oh, ego.
You know, and that was I listened to this on the way over because I love Siddhartha Buddha. You know, the original Buddha. You know, and that's the other thing is like that. People always put this like you say God, they think entity, huge sky.
Yeah.
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Well,
They'll
higher
never
power
they'll
than
never
look up.
accept the fact that like when
Yeah.
you read scripture and if you interpret it the way like I do when I see I am, it's like a direct line to myself that I am the Son of God. You know, I you know Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I have all those things in me. You know, and people would be like, oh, well, you know, Siddhartha Buddha, or like you can't say his name right. It's kind of funny, but you know that he obtained enlightenment. That's what made him the Buddha.
Right.
You know, and
And-
how
but it took
it
quite a
took
long time.
6 years he suffered.
Yeah.
6 years he thought that if he put himself through so much physical pain, and isn't this so true for so many of us that come in here broken, beaten, and tattered, you know, that we will just suffer, hoping that something's just going to pop off.
Right.
And, you know, we put our bodies through so much, and it's like, it's really when you kill the ego, you know, like he called, you know, the Mara, you know, that worldly desire, when he no longer needed worldly desires to live, you know, he found enlightenment.
Is that when he's like, I see you, Mara?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
had the
yeah, yeah.
demons
Yep.
attacking
Yes,
him.
yes,
and,
yes.
You know,
I see you.
the
Like,
3 little ladies they sent over. It was like
acknowledging it and not
exactly
entertaining
You
it.
can acknowledge temptations there, but you don't have to. You know, you don't have to take the bait.
Right.
You know?
Right.
That's key too, and I think of that sometimes. You know, you think some stupid thought. You know, and this is Mike Gavoni taught me about not identifying with your thoughts. So your brain will have some stupid thought, and you're just like, you know, I separate myself from my thoughts. Like I'm not my thoughts. Try to stop yourself from thinking and go.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So obviously it's not you; it's your brain. Just produces thoughts,
Right.
and so it's like some stupid thought will pass by, and it's just like I can sit back and be self-aware and be like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's like-
mean?
But
Well, yeah, like
but,
for instance,
but typically, I'm like, what happened? Why don't I have that thought? And then it's like, where am I going with this?
Well, like Fitzy was saying, like the attachment, right? My sponsor taught me this early. Is like it's like the Wall Street ticker, right? And even as I'm speaking right now, my brain is processing all these other thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a negative, mind state, and all these thoughts, and the second I attach to one, I start going for a ride.
Right.
Yes.
So
right.
that's why we're
You
like
strap the fuck in.
Right.
Keep going.
You
It's
can't-
like
you can't-
negative people. I can't listen. I love everybody, right? I got love for everybody and all that, but like, there's just certain type of human beings that I just can't surround myself. I start to get,
And I think I know why you're saying that is because no matter where I'm at, I can still get sucked into that.
oh yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
a fucking vortex.
That's
you know what I
right.
mean? Like
That's right.
Debbie Downer is pulling me in,
Yep.
and
Oh,
I don't
Jesus.
want to go there.
Yeah,
You know.
'cause I
Don't
think-
let her have you.
I think a lot of us for a long time, like we played the victim mentality. We lived in that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and it's
Right.
like I can no longer think that way. I
Yes.
can't surround
Bring
myself.
back that feeling of impending doom, where you're just sitting there and you know something bad's gonna happen, but you don't know what it is, and you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
trying to push the thought out,
Mm.
and just
But you think about it so much, you
God
fucking
damn.
make something happen.
exactly.
You manifest something.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
You know.
Our mind is so powerful, man, and like, that's why like, I got the pleasure to watch him when he came back to college and just have walk his own path and get to walk it with him, and he is going. I tell him all the time, like, not to stroke his ego, but like, more of like, some of the heavy stuff he's going through right now. Like, you're a much better human being than me.
Right. Right.
Honestly.
Yeah. No,
Like,
I hear
I
ya.
can't say and sit up here and say that I could have stayed as content and level-headed as he has.
Accepting and
Due to the circumstances. So kudos to you, man. It's just,
Oh, thank you, sir. For fuck's sake, it hasn't
awesome.
been easy, you know. No,
But
the-
that's the thing. Like, maybe all this happened for you to learn this. You know what I mean? Like, everything happens for a reason. We don't
For
know.
probably for lots of reasons.
Yeah.
right?
hey, Fitzy's been one of the biggest blessings in my whole entire life. Like, that's
Yeah.
a fact. You know, and I haven't known him all that long.
That don't mean shit though.
But that doesn't
No,
mean
don't take
shit.
my-
That don't.
I mean,
You haven't known him all that long in this.
right.
In
In,
this
in
life,
this thing.
exactly.
In this meat suit. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that's right. You know, what's hilarious is to me is that a long time, and I never believed it, but a lot of people they think it's all just by accident,
Mm.
and
No,
you just
it's synchronicity.
we're just gonna die, and there's nothing else, and all this stuff is just by accident. But you know what? I mean, I've been diving deep into that for a while, and you know, there's proof, scientific proof, that consciousness affects reality. Consciousness is more than contained in our brain. Now that's debatable, but a lot of scientists
Oh, there's
with
energy.
PhDs
Oh, yeah.
believe that it's
Yeah.
not
Well,
connected.
laws of attraction, man. I mean, like Chris was just talking about manifesting, right? You know, I choose to think a certain way, right? Some of the stuff I'm telling myself because I need to tell myself that, right? A lot of the stuff I post on Facebook is very inspirational. It's for most of you people.
Mm.
Some days it's for me,
Right.
Right.
you know, and it's
Yep.
like all this stuff that I've been practicing there's no coincidence that he aligned certain people in my life.
Right.
Like
Right.
Fitzy, like you guys,
Yeah.
you know,
Like
Sammy,
like
et
the
cetera.
I know. Shout out to the girls out there sharing away.
Love
You know.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd be what we are if it weren't for them.
No.
You know, they
No,
play
no,
hu-
no.
they play a
Huge,
large
huge,
part,
huge
very
role.
large part.
You know, I was gonna say, like, to jump off of that thing is like, you know, I always view any situation that I go into, even when I don't feel strong and I don't feel like, you know, that day might not be the day that like I'm completely, you know, have my arm on my consciousness, my awareness about all things. And I sometimes I just tell myself, I say, I'm doing this for somebody else. I'm not doing it for me. Somebody's watching, and whether it be my
Right.
kids,
Right.
you know, my friends, the people around me. If I can just keep walking the walk, you know, right thinking leads to right action.
Acting as if.
You know, it's
Yeah.
just
That's right.
and it also just becomes a part of, you know, once again, it's like practice makes perfect. Like it just starts to slide right into place.
I think
Yes.
it's more right action. You act yourself into right thinking sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? In
Right.
normal sobriety, you know, in early sobriety, you know, you're just doing what everybody's telling you to do. You're putting one foot in front of the other, doing the next right action, and after a while, your brain starts to get away from all that shifty fucking. You know what I mean? So it's acting yourself into right thinking. That's what they used to say.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
act yourself into right thinking.
You can't think yourself into right acting, but you can act yourself into right thinking.
That's right.
You know, if you keep go, that's why they say go through the motions. Go through the motions. You know,
Yeah.
because we have to learn how to do this
Well,
continuously.
It's also water seeks its own level. So
Right.
I've come in. 23 years of not being very productive in the
Mm.
halls. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where who I surrounded myself with, where I wanted to be. You know, like I started to listen to a lot of self-help stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and it's you really need to position yourself with people who are above the caliber of where you feel that you are, because it's not where you are; it's where you want to go.
Right.
So I can feel cool. I can feel like you know what, I feel all right with myself. But I'm always searching. I'm always thirsty for that next bit of information that's gonna, you know, it's gonna take me to. I have a hard time at this point having normal conversations with people, like, cause people want to talk. And believe me, I grew up like 4 major food groups, like Sox, C's, B's, and Pats. Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you other than going to the game the other night, like what their record was. I mean, I peek in, but like those things don't pique my interest anymore, which tells me right away, because
Yeah.
those were all things that, like, you know, didn't keep me sober. But I was like, God, Sox are on at 7, kid,
Yeah.
and so and so's pitching. I gotta.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
you have a big
Whatever.
you have a bigger yes. You have a bigger yes, and you're saying no to that entertainment, to
Right.
escapism.
I don't even
You
watch
know
the
what I mean?
news anymore, man.
I know.
There's nothing wrong with it. But
I
when
come
you
home and my mother's chilling. Channel 7. Did you hear what happened on 95 today?
For the fourth
Oh,
time.
Yeah.
no, I did not, Mother.
Repeat.
Oh, the news is yeah. I don't watch the
Yeah.
news.
It's not the news. It's another, like, and this is the thing. Like, I view a lot of things differently than maybe I used to when I was younger. Like, there are things that you can obtain through social media. There's by the internet, like, that are healthy things.
Yes.
There are also
Yes.
very unhealthy things
Very,
that
very,
you can
yes.
obtain.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
the
100.
news is not there to give you a good look or picture. It's there to give you it keeps you connected. Like, that's why they run it 24 hours. They
Yes.
know where you are.
Yeah.
We know where you are. You know, it's not one of those conspiracy theory things, but I really feel like if you peel back the onion for me, like, I go as far back and I think about religion. Religion was a way to control you, to control the masses, to keep people in line with their narrative,
Yes.
and just to keep the money flowing, right? And it's like there's just so many other ways and avenues and means of which people try to do that. And at the end of the day, like, I also feel like that's why Jesus' message got dumbed down, because they didn't want you to know that you could obtain enlightenment. Just the priest, the pastor, or the
Right.
deacon, or whoever had the mighty sword thrown over their shoulder.
Yes.
Had the peace and contentment of Christ, when in actuality, if you were sitting in the front row and you were reading that thing when you got home, because everybody's like, I'm just going to show up, I'm going to be there at Mass. If I don't, I'll go to hell.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
you were reading the Bible and making your own assumptions and feeling your own spirit and divulging it in your own words, and that you'd understand that it was
Well,
written to you for you to obtain nirvana,
that's-
Think about
enlightenment,
this. Yeah,
peace,
this is-
consciousness.
This was a book that was only written in Latin.
I know,
And brought
Greek,
to
yeah.
like English speaking and
Yes,
French speaking
yeah,
countries and Spain, and nobody even they held mass in Latin.
Yeah.
Nobody even spoke it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like,
Yeah, until like the late 50s.
And you just reminded me of what I was thinking of earlier. How it says the only way to God is through me. Like Jesus saying through him. But what I heard the other day was through me.
Right.
Jesus wasn't speaking of himself. He was speaking of us.
For you to
Us.
interpret
Yes.
it as yourself.
Yes, like that
I
movie.
am.
Stigmata.
I haven't seen it.
Great flick from back in the day. One of the Arquettes is in it. She gets the stigmata, Jesus, the signs of Jesus, and like at the end of the movie, it like completely destroys like organized religion. Like if you seek me, you will find me. Turn over a rock, and I am there. Like you don't have to go to a church to get to Jesus. You know what I mean?
But he
It's good to have a congregation of people who are
Yes.
like-minded, just
Community
like we do. I mean,
is
don't
what it
get
is,
me wrong,
community.
This isn't
two are
one of
gathered
those
in my name. There I am.
Yes.
Correct.
He also says, I am the way and the truth and the light.
Yeah.
Through me. Come through me to the Father. But like you say, you don't have don't go to church anymore,
Mm.
and I feel very close to God, and I am Christian.
Right.
And I understand that there's a lot of religious, worldly things that happen, and a lot of misconstrued, and people take it upon themselves to see their own message within the Bible,
Yes.
and put it out there. But you know what? As clear as day that he said, that cuts right to the chase for me, and I've shared it on this podcast before. He said, someone asked Jesus, what are the most important commandments?
Mm.
He said, number one, love God. Paraphrasing, but that's what he said. Number two, love your brother as yourself.
Yes. That's it.
And that's it. That's the most important thing.
That's how I learned to love myself. That's where I found the peace, was learning to love him, and in turn, I found out it was a reflection of myself.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, I love it when DuBois talks about it. You're on a commitment. He talks about looking for the key outside, and all along it was inside.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm looking out towards the world to find something: sex, money, drugs, booze, haircuts, clothes.
Yeah.
You know,
Cars.
whatever. Anything
whatever.
to make me feel like, oh, I got it, and then what's next? There was never a piece that
Finite.
It was
Yeah.
situational happiness.
exactly.
Like, if I get this, if I get that, if I get over there, if I get that job, if I get... No. You don't need that. You can have the happiness and the peace and the contentment and then attain those things. But we got it fucked up and twisted and backwards. Like, we have to get those things to be
get
happy.
peace,
Yeah, and to
backwards.
to get
Definitely.
esteem
Yeah.
from other people.
Yes, yes.
Have everybody else think that we're doing well, we're looking good.
Like,
you know.
this whole influencer thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Wait till I get that car. That asshole's gonna see.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah, buddy.
Right. We're trying to one-up the Joneses. You
One
know
up
what
the
I mean?
Joneses.
Well,
Yeah.
I went up to you. I got 3 OUIs and lost my license for 10 years.
Yeah. Right?
Check out my bike.
Yeah. I got me a scooter.
Hey, man, I got a scooter I stole from your sister.
It's got a 150 in it.
Yeah.
It's 70 miles a gallon.
Yeah, I
that's
know it's
all.
pink. It's
So
2019.
what did you print out? Tom? What did you print out, Tom?
Oh well, it's totally not about what we were talking about.
Yeah,
This
but
is
we can
Just
divert.
This
Yeah.
is quotes from this
is a
guy named
all-you-can-eat buffet.
Abraham Maslow. So the word that came out when you were on the group page and you were suggesting a topic was self-actualization. So going into that, which I already knew about a little bit, it's this hierarchy of needs. This guy Maslow, I think he was from the 40s, 50s, 60s. He was a famous psychiatrist. He came up with this pyramid, which is the hierarchy of needs, and it starts with food, and then it's like shelter, and then it's like belonging is the next one up, and the next one up after that is esteem. Which is like how everybody thinks of you, your accomplishments. You got this, plaques on the wall, whatever you got. And then the next one up is self-actualization. So these are quotes from him on that self-actualization. So this one here says, self-actualizers have become strong enough to be independent of the good opinion of other people or even their affection. The honors, the status, the rewards, the popularity of their prestige, and the love they can bestow must have become less important than self-development and inner growth. So that's self-actualization. Was the highest point of his, until later on in his life where he almost died, and he did some more work, and then he had this other point on the pyramid, which was self-transcendence, which is where it's not all about you, and you're starting to give, and you're starting to worry about the sad things in the world that you might help with, and the people who are down, and you're trying to help them and empathize with people and be altruistic, and that's your self-transcendence. Let's see. Another big quote that he has here is, "He who believes his talent, the born painter who sells stockings, who belies his talent." I'm sorry, belies. That means throws away or ignores his talent. The born painter who sells stockings instead, the intelligent man who lives a stupid life, the man who sees the truth but keeps his mouth shut, the coward who gives up on his manliness. All these people perceive in a deep way that they have done wrong to themselves and despise themselves for it. Out of this self-punishment may come only neurosis, but there may equally come reward, renewed courage, righteous indignation, increased self-respect, because thereafter doing the right thing. In a word, growth and improvement can come through pain and conflict.
That sounds like recovery to me.
Boom! Boom! You know what I mean?
Like everything you were
There
just
you
reading.
have it.
Everything you were just reading. Like, yeah, we have these things. We get fucked up and lose all these things. Then we get recovery, and all these things come back to us again.
Well, I think what he was saying is like, so you're born with certain talents, certain gifts that you can give to the world,
Right.
and you start getting all fucked up with living because you wanted this girl, so you got this job because you need this car, and go on and on and on, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a cubicle or some shit, and you're like miserable, and your talents and gifts are being wasted.
Yep.
He's saying so neurosis can result from that, or you can fucking turn it around, realize that you're fucking up, and grow from it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
that's, growth and improvement can come through pain and conflict,
Right, which
we have had.
yeah, I don't know about you, but I can identify with that.
I can identify with that.
Little
there.
pain, little conflict.
And I think, like, through pain comes purpose, There's, Fitzy and I talk about this shit all the time. Like, when you're going through the storm, it's like, it's hard to see the blessing, right? It's hard to see the blessing in the lesson.
Right.
But
Yeah,
there's
man.
always, like, life is only as good as, like, how I perceive it at that very moment, right?
Right.
So,
It's 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, really training the brain. I mean, there's so much stuff available now, and it's so awesome.
Right.
Like,
And
Yeah,
honestly,
it
I want to
is.
give a shout out to fucking Facebook, like with this new algorithm shit, because the shit that I used to see before, I no longer see because I'm seeking better stuff.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what my news feed's filled with.
Well,
You know what I
that
mean?
is good. That is good. That is good.
That's
And
what I'm. I don't want to see all the negative crap.
But that's you know why? That's because you bring that out, and some people bring out the anger, like especially politics and stuff.
Yeah.
They start clicking on stuff that helps them feed their anger towards the other side and keep them separated and fighting.
All set with that.
Or
Oneness.
lots of different
stay
things like
far
that.
away.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing is that's the divide that's created. Like, dude, so like like I keep having the same cats that are constantly kind of like my shit, and then you kind of see a couple other people pop off, but it's like, if you had posted something that's gonna get a rise out of people, they're gonna be all over it. You're gonna be like, oh, let me put my
yeah.
2 cents in, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
People love to be mad.
And that's the
and
thing.
give opinions,
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
That's right.
Be
And
heard.
that's fine. That's fine. You've earned your opinion. It doesn't mean that I have to accept it, and I probably won't respond.
Right.
Because
right.
that's kind of what what I do is I just try to put out a positive message, a smile, a handshake, a how you doing.
Yep.
Even in the face of adversity. And that's how people it's all about attraction, not promotion. You don't need to be out there pumping your own tires.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just the way you
Yeah,
walk
that's for
alone
sure.
will attract people towards you. The laws of attraction, positive meets positive,
Yep.
negative. You're not going to stick around long if you got a negative attitude and you're in my life.
Yes.
Because it's just not how things happen.
Right. Walk
Yeah.
through the grocery store and smile at people.
Oh, I love
Like,
it. I was in
To
the
see
supply house the
someone
other
who
day.
looks busy as fuck,
Yup.
and you smile at them, and they like kind of crack a smile. It's
And
like,
they're like, wait a minute.
I know. Why is he
Why is he
smiling?
smiling? What do you want from me?
I'll talk. And I'm
He's
all-
got motives.
I'll talk to anybody. It's one of the traits my father gave me. So I'll talk.
Yeah,
to
me
anybody.
too.
I went in the supply house the other day, and this cat sitting there, and I'm like, it's a beautiful day. He's kind of looking at me like, you crazy? He said, yeah. I said, he's like, yeah, I'm glad the rain's gone. I said, but we need the rain in order for when the sun to shine. Then it makes it that much better because
Yeah.
it brings out the color and the light.
Did you
in the
see how?
world.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I mean? And it's the
And
dude's
he's
looking at me like,
what?
dude, what's wrong with you? It's 70 and sunny. Let's just talk about that. You
Yeah.
know?
But
Yeah.
if we didn't
But-
have the rain for 3 weeks before, you wouldn't see that green
No,
fucking
but
grass and that
that's
red
the
flower
same
over there.
Thing.
No, but
Like,
you wouldn't
have
appreciate
to
the
go
sun.
through dark days. You have
know
to
what I mean?
understand that not every day is going
That's
to
why
be
we-
unicorns and rainbows.
That's why we appreciate
you know?
being sober so much too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We know what the fuck it's like.
Well, the beauty
Not to
about
be
this too
sober.
is that I know I've been sober, and this is where I do draw a line nowadays. People are like, I'm super sober, and that's good. I understand that, but when you find recovery, and you seek out the spiritual experience through doing the work, through other ways and avenues.
Right.
You keep your eyes open, you keep your heart open, you stay vulnerable, you keep pumping, you keep flowing. Like the whole game will change. I remember what it was like to be sober, to go to meetings, to sit on my hands,
To be
to
abstinent.
be abstinent. Like,
Horrible.
and it's just like there is no I wouldn't turn anything. Like this bus is gonna keep going that way. Like every bad thing that's happened in my life had to happen. Like I had to put myself in
Right.
situations where I knew the only way that I would obtain the life that I have today and feel the way that I feel. Not saying that my life is perfect. If you looked at outside of looking in,
Right.
I don't have everything I want, but I have everything I need. But I knew that I would have to give up certain things that was so near and dear to my heart, and that life would become a struggle. Now,
Yes.
with a year and a half in, and if you, I don't have bad days, I don't have problems, I have opportunities.
And
I used to think,
situations.
dude, I got problems. You want to? I got a problem. Can I talk to you? I don't have problems. I have opportunities. Now it's First thing I do is I pray and meditate on this shit, right? If I can't get through that, I pick up the phone, I call D. I call my brother Jimmy. You know what I mean? I talk to you. I talk to other guys that I trust and love. And we get to the other side of it.
Right.
But not at one point am I giving myself up. Like, I'm removing the attachment to those people, places, and things. I'm trying to practice acceptance. And one thing that I always have to is this thing. You know, step one, I'm powerless over alcohol. That's an obvious.
That's
you know,
right.
You
Step
don't wake
one
up
is
in different
important.
states, hog-tied, you know, covered in your own urine, going, I got this thing licked, you know. You might have a problem.
None of the other stuff's possible until you accept and are willing to
Right, you got to get there from there. Like, that's why I always say, I'm like Bill W. and these cats. Like, they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. Like, they had found that peace and enlightenment, the obtainment. They knew exactly how to place it to trick a bunch of people who were so broken and hurt to going, I will do anything. And at the end of it, you got your hand in God's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You found some spiritual, some spirituality. You've now found yourself. You know, and I used to think, I'm like, I'm not doing that book. I'm not reading. I'm not understanding. I stay away. You guys are great. Now I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
just like, come over
Right,
here. Can I
right.
talk to you?
And like from I'm sure you opened the book before. You know.
Oh yeah, I'd read it with I'd read it with a few guys, but like
previous
really when I
sobriety.
sat down, Derek, and I read, it made sense because it was all about that moment in time.
Right. And
Like,
but
it
now you could read something that you've read with Derek, and it would completely mean something
Completely different.
different and more.
Yep.
It's like, it's like that book's interactive.
Yep.
Like the hand of God is smushed all through that sucker.
I never
You know what I
not enjoy reading that
Right.
book.
You-
No matter
I was at
who I'm reading it to.
Right. I was at my home group, one of my old home group, a couple weeks ago, and like part of the meeting is you read from the book. And the girl was like, I don't know about anybody else, but I like just doing this. Boom, just opened it.
Wherever it falls.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it was what she read was awesome, and
Yeah.
it set the stage for the whole entire meeting,
Love
and it
it.
was pissa.
Nice.
Love it.
You know.
Well, it occurred to me when you were talking, like, when I first got sober, the time that took. I mean, it took me 7 years of trying.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like, I've been through a lot of fucking detox and all that shit. And when I finally got sober, the time that it took, this time, I was fucking miserable. I was pissed at life, but I didn't care because I just had a kid, and whatever, it got me through. I said, I will put one foot in front of the other, and I will be miserable for the rest of my fucking life. If this shit works, I'm just gonna keep going with it, as long as I don't stick a needle in my arm.
Right.
You know,
You were willing to feel shitty all the time.
all the time. I didn't care.
Yeah.
And I was just became that willing.
Because
You know what I mean?
that shitty feeling was better than the other shitty feeling before.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I mean?
see, the
Right.
thing that I found is like abstinence will bring me one of two places. It'll either bring me back to active addiction or wanting to fucking kill myself.
Right.
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 And like that's the importance.
need to
of
grow.
recovery.
And
Yes.
like talk to people who have been around here and who have had some time and who have relapsed. Ask them why the fuck they think they relapsed. Failure to maintain your spiritual condition.
And our book tells
That's
us
right.
that over
Yeah.
and over and
It's
over.
exactly.
And
You
you
know?
get it one way, and then it goes in reverse.
And sitting
it
down
almost
with
always goes
I
in
know.
reverse.
sitting down with a guy and taking him through the book is one thing, but if you're not trying to grow spiritually yourself, yes, you can be helping this gentleman grow spiritually, but if you're not, his spiritual growth is not going to help you.
No,
If you know
absolutely not.
it, like Fitzy just said, it's always in reverse. Like you get it this way and then it goes that way.
Yep.
You can't give away your essence. You
Right.
have to recharge your batteries. You know what I mean? You have to understand that, like for me, it's like I go to a place now where I used to not want to be alone. Now I enjoy to be alone.
Right.
I enjoy to have myself, my time, and I feed my spirit. I'm constantly always, like I said, I'm thirsty. Like I'm looking for something that's just gonna get me going and get me flowing. I mean, you've seen it, you know it. I'll blow your phone up. I'll send you the shit. I'm like, you
Yeah.
gotta check this out.
Yep.
You need to get back to me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But I'll leave people to their own devices because you can only lead a horse to water. You can't force them to drink it. You know, and that's what the beautiful thing about like being over at the house and doing the like kind of the self-realization type thing that I try to drop on the guys on Fridays is that it's an open forum for fresh ears. You know, and
Right.
that's where I think that it's like I love doing it. It's just you come
It's
in.
so dude. It's like
You start. You're supposed to be there. You know, it's supposed to be like an hour. It turns into like 2.5, and who's making dinner? You know.
yeah.
What time's it start?
Exactly.
Well, you know what? You know the good thing about it is like, so I'm beating these guys all week over the head with the big book, right?
Right.
One on one, and you know, and then I got guys like Fitzy who come in on Friday night, and these guys look forward to it. Like I got a text today on my way here
Right.
from a guy in the house that's working out of town right now, and he's like, "Hey, do you mind if I come back tomorrow? I need to see Fitzy." Like, you know, and it's
That's
just
cool.
it's cool because like I'm over here ripping these guys through the steps because like the reality is like the steps lead to you have to have the awakening
Right.
to
Right.
even understand this cat's lingo.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, for those of you that don't understand my boy's lingo,
Mhm.
you might want to hit the snooze button or stop hitting the snooze button. And I'm not
True.
trying to be rude.
True.
Like, because I was asleep for 36 years, right? And I had to go through what I had to go through, and the steps led me to this awakening, this self-realization. And as I got a taste of that, it dawned on me that this is what I had been looking for my whole fucking
Right.
life.
Right. And but we've
That's a
searched
beautiful
for
thing,
it.
brother.
We've searched for it through
Everything.
fucking everything else.
Everything.
But
Right.
like you just said, we had to go through everything we went through
Yeah.
to get to there.
Here's the thing.
And
It all makes sense now.
yeah.
It all makes sense. Like those. For me, it's like I look at my kids, and I remember being a 10-year-old boy, and he's just these thoughts of clarity that I would have when I was younger. But I'm like, I don't know. You know.
What the fuck was that?
You know. What just happened?
Ma!
Yeah,
Ma!
Yeah. And you know, and so it's like now there's certain things that happen in my life, and it brings me back. It's just like, you know, it's like, you know, I smell cut grass, and it's like I can remember being a 10-year-old boy, but if I close my eyes, I can see it. I can meditate on stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can go places and times and things, and you know, it's you know, when you quiet the mind and you understand how unmanageable it is to start, and you start to work on that. Like once you quiet the mind, it's a beautiful place to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be a horrible place to live.
Yes, you,
Yeah,
you,
But
you
it's
talked
also
about
that peace and enlightenment, and that you know that nirvana, that you know that obtainment. You know, it's so refreshing. Like you can't. And this is the thing is like I'm a larger than life type guy. Like when I come in, that's why I like being at the house. It's like, you know, it's a little bit of like I'm on camera. There's a microphone, so it's like a little loud. But like I can really just hammer it. I can let my body language and come across whichever way I feel the spirit move me, right? And it's like, it's just a beautiful thing to be able to do something like that. And you just let it flow. There's no thought. It's all spirit. It's all led by love.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You talked about fear of being alone, and now you enjoy it. I'll find myself driving, fucking radio ain't on, phone ain't in my hand, just
Yeah.
Coasting.
cool with it. Like I remember coming to a realization at one point that I went out to eat by myself, and I didn't give a fuck what anyone thought about me being at a restaurant by myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That shit would have crippled me. I can't fuck.
Yeah.
I can't go there by myself. What's everyone gonna think?
I said I'd be home by
Yeah.
7:05. It's now 7:08.
Yeah.
I went out to eat by myself. Everybody's gonna be wondering, what did you eat? Why'd you eat it? Why didn't you ask us? Why didn't you call? I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
You know, and, no, but it's like that's how we think. Like my thought process, my thought patterns are so repetitive and so crazy. Like I think about the stupidest shit.
Yeah.
And I go on for days.
Yeah.
And then it's
Yeah.
like, now it's like, just to have the freedom to, you know, I know I'm. I was talking about it with Davey today. He's like, I'm not attached to anything in this world but myself and my thoughts and my consciousness and my spirit. I mean, obviously, there's things that I bring in because they enrich me, and I to them also, you know. But it's like I used to have these feelings and emotions of, you know, I'm tied to this because of that. And that's just how it is here, and that's what my feeling
Right.
and this and that. I owe nobody. I don't owe anybody anything. You know, like I obviously it's like I have things that I need to take care of as a man, and that, you know, my obligations as a father and as a
and
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's just you know, but I don't owe anybody anything. Like I don't fall victim to anybody's opinion. Where I used to be crippled by it.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
dude I'm talking
and
about
it controlled how you did anything.
everything. How I was gonna
That's-
talk, how I was
And
gonna
that's the
act.
game changer.
That's
That is the. I mean, I that's the goal, right? Like,
yeah, that's the
that's the ultimate.
self-actualization. That's
Yeah.
the top of the
Yeah.
pyramid. Well, almost the top of the pyramid.
And you know, it's
Yeah.
a constant. There's
Yeah.
no end game with this stuff,
stuff.
right? It's
No.
like, you know, the steps are a fact-finding, fact-facing process, right?
Right.
That lead to this relationship with this power that freed me from addiction, right?
Yeah.
So if this power pulled the needle out of my arm
Mm.
and kept it out,
Mm.
right? Then why wouldn't I access this power in other areas of my life,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And everything.
Any and all things.
And ever since I have been able to do that, like literally taken honest third step,
Mm.
right? And just continue to trust and rely, my life has never been the same.
Right.
Never.
Yeah. Trusting and relying is so enables you to have peace of mind.
Well, and the other thing is that what it came down for me is I believed and I didn't trust. And when I learned to trust, then I could walk through fear.
Right.
Because when I believed, I believed that something or someone or there was an entity that was working for other people, but I did not trust
Big difference.
I used
that
to say it.
it would work for me.
Or have
I used to
faith
say
in it.
could.
Right.
He said could and would restore sanity. I used to believe. I used to say it to people. I'd say, well, I believe he could. I don't think he would. Not for me.
Not for
Yeah.
me, not
Yeah.
this guy.
That's
Right.
exactly
You know.
what I used to say.
Right.
So crazy, like that we couldn't apply that to our life. Yet we could go to Joe Schmo's auto mechanic shop and trust and have faith,
faith
that
in
he's
that.
going to fix our
Yeah.
vehicle,
Yeah.
and we will pay him. Like never been there, never gone there before. Don't know nothing about him.
Yeah.
But we will have our car towed there and trust and have
Tru-
faith
Oh,
that we're
let's-
going to pick it
let's-
up and it's going to be fine.
That's
Let's
a
take it
song
a
by the
step
Dead
further.
Kennedys.
Put our faith in our dealer,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, right.
Right. And
Put your faith in the dealer. Yeah, that's right.
know?
Sometimes we
Putting
put
your
the-
life in right
He
here
had
in the
faith
dealer's
in me.
hands.
That was for sure. I think he had more faith in me than I had in him.
Exactly, exactly.
I know this cat's gonna be calling me in 2
about
hours.
Yeah.
any second.
Any
Yeah.
second.
6:59.
Dude, I just need to pack, buddy. It's 8:59. Okay, I know you. I'm not coming back. No, I'm good. You know,
Yeah.
by like 10:30. So where are you? How far? Are you in Georgia already?
Did you? Yeah. Did you get home?
Dude, come on. It's not even midnight. I'll buy you a beer.
So crazy. But to put our faith and trust in something that we've seen work for
So many people.
so many people,
Around
and
us,
wonder
yeah.
like why don't it work for me?
Well, you know the God concept, whether you believe or not, right? I mean, those are hard terms. Like that whole chapter that they wrote, you know, we agnostics, is like really trying to hammer home that, like, if you're identifying as the real alcoholic, right?
Right.
These are pretty much your terms.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
when you're telling somebody that it's like, okay, so you mean to tell me that if I want to stay sober, I have to do X, Y, Z? Like, those can be, that can be difficult to hear.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
Right.
for somebody that doesn't believe or
And
want to believe.
right. And
You know?
then they're weighing. Well, how bad is an alcoholic death? You know, like
How bad was it?
spiritual principles and alcoholic death.
Dude, I'm all over the place. That's a beautiful part about the the God of your understanding is like I believe in so many things at this
Yeah,
point. It's
right.
forever evolving and forever changing. You know,
Right.
like you were talking earlier about like I listened to this guy. I think his name is Greg Braden, and he talks about about God, gospel, and but the power of connect the energy that is actually transferred from the body and the mind. You know, when we talk about positive energy, there's actual energy that comes like from us. You know,
Yeah.
I was making a joke today. I'm sitting in court, and it's all quiet. They got those little the thing that's like,
Can we give her
and
a
like
shout out?
everybody can hear
Can
it.
we give her a shout out?
No. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, everybody's dead quiet. And I'm
White
going,
noise
I
generator?
keep going, yeah. And I keep going, shh. And everybody's looking like, who's talking? I'm like, I can hear you thinking. You know what I mean? Because I tend to think about shit like that. Like, no matter how quiet that room was, that there was so, like, say there's 10, 15 people there, they're all active minds.
Oh,
They're all, like, I'm so
you know it,
intrigued
Nick.
about, I wish there was, like, a little flashlight. You could just go, gee, oh, my God.
yeah.
Close that window.
Have
and
you
then
ever
every-
Close the window.
Every single one of them was on the rev limiter, like ba 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 ba,
Oh.
because
Hey.
they're sitting in
Yeah.
court.
Well, the
Like-
fear, the anxiety, the emotion, like, and
Yeah.
here I am. I'm sitting thinking of consciousness
have you
and
ever,
non-attachment. That's what I'm
Tell
thinking about when I'm caught. I'm like, so, yeah, I really should try to practice some of these principles, in my life right now. And,
Yeah.
I was able to do that. Like, all of a sudden, I'd look around and be smiling, and I'm like, and without my own knowing, just because I was practicing non-attachment, to practice closing my eyes, on the breathing,
Yeah, right. Concentrate on the breathing. That's really, really awesome to do.
to return to the breath.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's the
return to
center of
breath.
life.
It's
That's
so,
the center of life.
Yeah.
When you
It's
think
so
about breath, you think
friggin'
about the
awesome.
power of the universe, because you need both. You need to understand that God, that God is consciousness, right? And you need that. You need to understand that. You need to obtain that information.
Have you ever looked into the Global Consciousness Project?
No, you know what I want to do? You ever do Joe Rogan? I was watching his podcast the other day. I want to do one of those saltwater, meditation.
Oh, the
Oh,
float
Cloud
tank.
Cloud9.
Yeah, they
Cloud
have
nine.
him in Boston. Billy Veets, he was on the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
He was doing them.
I want to do that.
It's like $25.
My friend,
I heard about
Lynn,
it, yeah.
Lynn Meany goes there. Actually, we're gonna have her husband.
Oh,
on soon.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching.
And Alex,
John's coming on?
Alex, yes, Alex Starr, who
Ah,
we had, she
cool.
goes there as well.
Awesome.
I think it's Cloud9 float.
I want to
tanks.
check it out.
Yeah, I want to do that. I want to do that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
A.
I got
That's
I
a
got Meany.
capsule,
He
right?
called me by accident the other day, and I was like, "Hey, while I got you on the phone,
See?
Bing.
There are no coincidences.
That's a little capsule.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
full
They
capsule.
whack
Downloads
You
it
out,
down.
dude. You go in. It's like salt water, so you can't feel your body. So you actually are just left with consciousness.
yes,
Yeah.
like your own heart." Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I know.
Love to
I
get
listened
that.
to Joe Rogan. It was funny. He had Russell Brand on, so I'm like, oh, I gotta listen
Great,
to this one.
great.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. They were
one.
talking about the meditation piece and then the DMT.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
You could see Russell, like the typical addict, because I think the same way. I'm like, well, it's just something that's going to breach my consciousness, but I understand that stuff. Today that it's like, yeah, if I did that, I'd be doing it all the time. I'd just turn into a deadhead. Hey man,
Yeah.
you got
Oh, I
any
don't know.
DMT, man?
We just had Mike on the podcast again for a second time, Mike Gavoni, and he had just come back from
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, and he had done ayahuasca.
That dude's wide awake.
But
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
but in his own words,
Love him.
meditation did way more for me than that ever did.
Right.
He got deeper in
But
meditation.
Well,
he
the
was
thing that-
helping him heal from some
yes,
trauma.
from traumas.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and I understand it. I mean, for me, it's just like I loved LSD.
And-
I
and-
loved the shit out of it. Like
Yeah.
if I had to pick a drug, if you were like, you can pick one, it would be like, give me a bunch of tabs.
Yeah, you get a
and some
mulligan
glow
on one
sticks,
drug.
You know what I mean?
Get a
I'd be that guy
mulligan.
out in your backyard. You know.
I decided when I was
Fitzy's
20
out there again. I think he's tripping on acid.
Yeah.
I think I was 23 when I decided I'll never do it again because I was too scared of it.
Hated it.
I
loved
did
it.
it
Loved
a lot,
Loved
but
it.
then
Loved it.
Dude.
I loved it too at one point. But then as I got older and the baggage came in, for some reason I started to like fear it.
It is tough.
And
Once
you know
I
what
saw
mean?
the pink elephants, I didn't like it.
I
You
got
saw Pink Elephant?
I got
I
away.
saw-
I
I
got
saw
away
it.
from the paper and
No
went
shit.
more towards the mushrooms because
Yeah.
I knew it would be over quicker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and it was cleaner.
But
You know.
but like Tom was saying, like
No. as
now
you
I have more life experience.
life
these later
experience.
years down the road.
Too
and
many
now this
worries.
shit's fucking with me.
Yeah. When I was
You
doing
know.
it, I was 15, 16, 17.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I started doing it, I was 18, 20. It was like, it just wasn't good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was too much. But the ayahuasca, supposedly, and I have no need to do it myself, but supposedly it can help you have insight into yourself. And they don't, people say to call it a drug is ridiculous, is what they
Yeah,
say.
there's
They say
there's
it's
a lot of
experiment,
like
experience. It's a
I used to
spirit.
huff paint thinner, so pretty much I'll do anything to get out of me.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
I hear
mean,
ya.
literally, it's just for me. It's just like it would be. I don't like taking aspirin because I'm ingesting something that I could probably heal myself from if I just hydrated and did some few other things rather than feeling
Dude,
like shit.
Wim
because I
Hof.
yeah.
Wim Hof, that dude can control his
Oh, yeah.
organs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
Oh,
dude
we
can
did- that's
control
the
his
shit we did
organs.
Down at Mahoney's.
yeah.
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 Mark Mahoney had us doing that.
Dude, I thought we were gonna pass out. We're supposed to be moving beds. The both of us
Dude.
are beat red. I'm like, I gotta drive home.
Dude, I'm sitting there
Just from
getting ready to
breathing.
write some fourth step. I did like 30 seconds of Wim Hof. I couldn't pick up the fucking pen, dude. I'm like,
Yeah, that was intense.
I'm like, I can't write. I couldn't even write. But after that wore off, it was like my brain was
Get
just
the
like,
blood.
Oh, good
you know what I
though.
mean?
Yeah, it's oxygen.
Yeah.
Extra oxygen.
He he could control his kidneys. Like, he's got some great podcasts.
Yeah.
He's a meditator.
Yeah.
But he says that a lot of these other religions or whatever you would have them, like Hinduism and Buddhism, he says that they have a lot more complicated stuff. And he says what he does is not as complicated. It's very simple.
Yes.
It's meditation and breathing.
Yeah, but the breath controls everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
And once he's in control of it, and you know,
That's one of those
Insane.
things where it's like you learn naturally to do how to do certain things, and then all of a sudden you're older in life, and someone's like, it's like every time I feel like I'm nauseous, breathe through the nose and through the mouth, and you breathe through the stomach, and it's like, I remember being a kid, it was just natural to pick up. Like those are things that I learned as a kid, but I learn now. It's like when I feel anxious or I feel it coming on, it's just to return to the breath.
Yeah.
Understand deep breaths. And
I've gotten caught up, like, even recently, like, not being able to do that though.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
all
I
you
hate
gotta
to
do
say
is
it.
make sure these two don't connect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've been there. My heart's pumping.
Yeah,
I'm
we
about
gotta
to-
Yeah. We at
we gotta
101.
wrap it because they're gonna want us out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, tough.
Thank you,
Swish.
gentlemen.
For fuck's sake.
For fuck's sake, it was good having you.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hopefully
Yeah.
you shared it.
I hope
Hopefully
you guys.
Thank you
enjoyed
to all
this
you people down south watching.
LOLTerms.com. Please subscribe to the auto
Subscribe.
podcast. It sounds good.
one. Yes.
Mow your lawn.
Do the
listen to-
Bernie Mac.
listen
Must
from
his own
Discovery.
drugs.
Brand
Must his
new.
own drugs.
Put a brand new flavor in your ear.
Yes.
Oh,
Cover your
LOLterms.com.
fingertips. Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh, Clarice.
Sorry, Sean. I didn't see these. We was in deep thought.
Who's that? Sean who?
Sean Cullen.
Sean
Sean
Cullen.
Cullen, how do you sound like a nice Irish boy?
Your third eye is your answer. Boom. Yeah.
Boom.
That's
Open
right.
that bitch.
Yeah.
open-
Sorry we missed some comments there.
Yes. We were trying.
We were going and going.
Just talking.
We'll get better at this discussion thing.
Yes. All right. Peace.
Peace.
Where's my cursor? There it is.
I
Hold
got
on.
pee.
And
Hotter than Haiti in here.
Hotter than Haiti. Hotter than